Thank you for tuning into our conversation today with iCIMS. My name is Greer Lynch. I'm VP of Marketing over here at Reprise, where we help companies like iCIMS demo their software with our AI-powered platform. I'm joined today by Lauren Anderson. She is Manager of Solution Experience at iCIMS. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Before we dive in, can you share with the audience what iCIMS does and share about your role at the company?
Yes. So iCIMS has been in the talent acquisition space for over 25 years. And our platform really brings together the strengths of enterprise software with the transformative power of AI. And we're helping companies build their future workforce, right? Hire the teams that are going to continue their success. And I manage a very small but quite mighty team, and we're called the Solution Experience Team. We sit inside of the Solution Consulting org, and our task is really just to scale demo excellence. And for us, that means that we work highly cross-functionally to bring together the innovation from product, the message from marketing, and we support a wide variety of teams to effectively demonstrate how our AI-powered platform solves the challenges that our customers are facing. And those demonstrations span a variety of customer and market-facing interactions, including interactive demos, driving lead generation, deep dive pre-sales demos, what's new release demos for customers, and then, focus growth opportunities to our existing account base, and even as far as analyst engagements. And our task is really to ensure that all of those teams can effectively demonstrate the power and the components of the iCIMS platform and showcase both the value and the functionality.
Great. Um, I know you've been there about 8 years. Can you talk to me a little bit about how the role of solutions has changed during that time?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride. A significant amount of the evolution of the role of solution consultants at iCIMS has really been a direct result of the evolution of our solution and our market. When I first started at iCIMS, I actually came from the company, their first acquisition. And the story I was telling was fairly simple but highly impactful. And it was just about how the iCIMS ATS, one that was built by recruiters for recruiters, powered effective and efficient hiring. And then through a series of M&A activities and evolution in the requirements of talent acquisition teams, and now the adoption of AI in hiring workflows, we're telling a story about humans working with AI to drive speed, to provide consumer grade candidate experiences, to optimize the hiring team's time, and then, you got to cover all the compliance bases while doing it. And the involved buyers have also grown, and they each have their own ways of approaching evaluating our solution. And so, solutions consultants have always sat between marketing, product, and sales, right? And they need to bring together a deep technical understanding of our products, an understanding of the market and the expectations of hiring practices, and the value that iCIMS provides to our customers and our end users. But the scope of each of those has grown significantly in my time here. And our solutions consultants have had to not only learn all these new products so they can confidently navigate them in demonstrations, but they've also constantly had to evolve their story to align to that new value that those products are providing, the reason why we acquired them, and the way they're going to improve the day-to-day experiences of our users and the candidates, and ultimately, how they fit into our hiring platform. Plus, they've had to navigate the realities of technology acquisitions and the process of integrating them into our core solution. And so, as all of this evolution has taken place, solution consultants have had to learn how to demonstrate our platform as it stands today while painting that picture of where we're headed, but also without overcommitting any product capabilities to prospects or even existing customers, and then manage concerns of IT, data security, now AI councils, and the end users.
That's a really impressive story and impressive growth. So
Yes.
I understand you've played a key role in building out the solution experience team. Can you share more about how that team's organized?
Yeah. So when I started as part of the solution consulting org, back then we were sales engineers, we were in that phase of heavy M&A. And one of our most innovative and high-performing team members had really found a way to evolve her storytelling where she was consistently delivering high quality, easy to follow, and fully connected demonstrations after we had experienced such significant product transformation through acquisitions. And that was kind of the inception of the solution experience team. one that was built on the idea of a team who owned evolving the art of the demo and scaling excellence in the delivery. And back then, that team was made up of one, the colleague that I referenced, for quite some time. But it kind of became apparent that we needed a true team in order to maintain the pace of evolution of our hiring platform and support the activities required in scaling demo excellence. So now we're a team of four, myself, a demo architect, and she's really our like master builder of all Reprise assets, and integrates a lot of the storytelling. And then we have two demo engineers, one that sits in North America and one that sits in our EMEA region. And between the four of us, we're balancing, the live environment configurations and maintenance, the creation of supplemental demo assets, those cross-functional relationships that are key to, maintaining consistency, and then, SC specific enablement. And that looks like running sessions, building scripts, making recordings, etc.
Okay, so you and your team sit in a key place interacting with many departments from sales to customer success and product. Can you tell us about how you support each of those teams a little bit more?
Yeah, this is honestly one of the best parts of being on this team. We get to support so many different types of engagements, and that keeps our job really dynamic. At the tippy top of the funnel, we support marketing by building the interactive website demos that are ultimately driving leads to our sales teams. And then, once we think about supporting revenue teams, that typically looks like, creating those guided and interactive leave behind demo assets, creating supplemental demo assets that kind of fill the gaps that may exist in live environments, the ownership and management of those demo environments from a functionality, data, and persona perspective, and then our team also assists in any robust demo customization that's needed or sandboxes that are requested as part of a buying cycle. On the customer success side, one of the new things we started creating last year are these kind of what's new interactive demos, and we do these through Reprise. And, with each release, when there are major user perceivable changes or big product features we want to highlight in advance for customers, we're building out these assets. And we're working through creating new assets with Replicate to provide to customer success, where they'll kind of have the bumpers, the controlled environments where they can run what we typically call fresh eyes demos with their customers. So new people that are part of, their team that they're working with that need to just kind of understand at a high level what is iCIMS doing for their organization. And then, on a big part of our role is really to, as I mentioned, maintain those lines of communication between product and solution consulting. And we find this to really be mutually beneficial for both departments. Product is getting another channel to hear the voice of the customer, what's resonating, how are requirements changing. And then solution consultants also have the opportunity to provide input early in development cycles based on what they're hearing. And then they can also effectively speak to the direction we're going in product and what major releases are in the horizon when they're engaging with their prospects or their customers.
That's great. Sounds like there's a lot of increased visibility across the org with your program.
Definitely.
And when you're building a demo program, how do you think about different technologies like Reprise, and how do they support the work that your team does for the org?
So historically at iCIMS, all demonstrations were done in a live environment, or maybe there were, PowerPoints with some supplemental demo assets or videos incorporated into them. But as our platform has evolved, we really needed a way to tell a cohesive story without having to build out, live integrations with these new products or scaling these one-off experiences and capabilities across tens or hundreds of live demo environments. And for us, that meant we needed a solution that would allow us to capture that experience once and then repeat it reliably over and over again. But we didn't want it to be in a PowerPoint or in a video. We wanted it to look like a live environment, so it wasn't disrupted to like that visual experience of a demo. And so deploying Reprise has been such a game changer for us because now we have this library of supplemental assets that solution consultants can leverage to fill in those gaps for those experiences that are not easily replicated over and over again in a live environment. And it's also made it really simple for us to create those assets that maintain engagement through the buying cycle with prospects, or help our customers be more aware of what's coming. And as we continue to grow out our demo program with Reprise, we're really looking at how do we reduce the time it takes to customize a demonstration, and that could be by industry or by persona or really by use case. And we're looking to use Replicate and Data Studio for that. And we're excited about those capabilities really for two reasons. One is providing that environment that's fairly controlled for customer success and sales reps, right? Where they have their bumpers up. But then also with Data Studio, we think that's going to provide, significant ROI for our solution consultants, allowing them to reduce the time it takes to customize a live environment with relevant data based on, the industry or the use case of their prospect.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Now I have to ask the question about AI. So tell me, how is AI changing things for your team?
Um, I think it's fair to say it's changing everything in every way and every day. Um, in all seriousness, AI is native in our solution, in our platform, and we have a lot of different AI capabilities that are available and demonstrated through all phases of hiring in our platform. But there's something really tricky about demonstrating AI. You aren't always going to get the same outcome, even if you're using the same prompt, right? That's kind of the beauty of it. It's also a big challenge because, as I'm sure most solution consulting teams do, RSCs are often demonstrating the same experience over and over again through the course of several demos in a day. And even though their talk track's probably changing, right, their data may be altered, the visuals generally are the same. And that's quite problematic when we're talking about demonstrating AI. We've got AI assistants that optimize a job description or improve SEO. And once you've done that once, the generative AI is not going to continue to provide the same responses when asked to execute the same task because it already did that.
Yeah.
And then the same thing with agents, right? Agents are designed to tackle a task to completion. And then if you want to do that task again for the next demo, you have to reset all your data, or you have to refresh your environment, or you have to pick a new job for our sourcing agent, and but also make sure that there are candidates that are going to meet the sourcing agent's requirements for this job. So that becomes a lot of work for solution consultants or us in solution experience. And then even our proprietary matching algorithm, it's, reliable to always return the same candidates if the data is unchanged, but our SCs are likely changing their data to make it relevant to the industry that they're talking of the prospect they're talking to, so the results returned may change, and that again is problematic. So we love using Reprise to capture these experiences once and then provide assets to the team that they can then customize for their demonstration based on, their prospect or customer's industry and use case, and then show it over and over again. And we're creating these really with a combination of, replays with variables or custom links, or Replicate in Data Studio. And this really gives our SCs confidence that their demo will consistently perform as expected, but they're not having to sacrifice the ability to really tailor that demo to their audience.
I love to hear that. You're right. AI is a powerful tool, but it can be difficult to demo in that repeatable way. And so removing those variables is really important, I'm sure, for your team. I'm sure it's a challenge that resonates with most pre-sales professionals today and those listening in. Now, to go back to something you touched on earlier, you're doing something really innovative, right? Your team is responsible for working with the product team to build demos that preview new features for your customers. So I'd love if you could share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, this has been a fun one because it's really allowed us in solution experience to, extend our arms out to supporting customer success. And as most software providers do, we support regular product releases throughout the year. We have three major releases through the year, and our team supports this cross-functional release project to ensure, one, the demo's taken into account, right? And two, that SCs are prepared to show all these new features as soon as they're released, or even often in advance of when they're going to be live in live environments. And we've had some pretty big user experience improvements deployed in the last year. And to support the customer success team in preparing for these changes, we made our first, what's new or what's coming replay that guided customers and the customer success team through these new UI updates and really highlighted the value and the reason why they were made. And the response to that first asset was so overwhelmingly positive from both customer success, but also the customer base. And so we decided, let's do this more. Let's create more of these assets. And these have really helped the customer success organization understand how to position these new features with their customers. And it also has alleviated some of the training burden on them because they can just hand this over to their customers and they are able to interact with these demonstrations. And they really appreciated the advance notice of what was coming before it was like they logged into their environment and it was different. They could kind of touch and feel it ahead of that.
I think that's really fascinating. Yeah, that's great. Um, it's cool to see how the organization is just looking at demos as something more than just a simple sales or marketing asset. And I think that's, yeah, it's really, really innovative. How do you think about measuring or tracking the impact of your demo program?
So this is a big area of focus for me this year and for our team. This past year, the majority of our measurement was really sentiment and feedback. We obviously had overwhelmingly positive feedback from the customer success organization. And we've also received a lot of praise from our solution consultants on how much easier it is to demonstrate certain, pockets of our platform because of the assets we produce, and also, just the training that they're getting and the cross-functional relationships. We also are often looking at our assets that we've developed through Reprise and looking at what is getting the most use so we understand what's valuable for us to continue, putting development cycles into. This year, we have a big focus on scaling adoption of Reprise and then reporting on the impact that our team solution experience has on revenue. We'll be able to measure adoption of Reprise directly within Reprise, right? Thanks to the reporting you all provide. We're also going to be integrating Reprise with our marketing automation tool so that we can see, these assets that we have on the website. How are those increasing demand gen results, right? And that's something a lot of the org is really excited to see. We've also gotten some great best practices from our CSM on how to, create like a solution hub that sits kind of front and center on our website to help increase the visibility of the demos that we've built. I think there will always be an element of sentiment and feedback and how we measure our impact. Some of this data is gathered just by shadowing demos and seeing what assets are being used. Some we gather through surveys or feedback sessions. And then, some of it we just get through, the recognition that our team members are getting. So it's a kind of a blend of data, going out and getting that feedback, and then just natural, feedback received through cross-functional relationships.
Right? I have one more question for you. So, if you were speaking to a pre-sales leader looking to build out a similar demo program like yours, what are the top three pieces of advice you would give that person?
Okay, that's a good question. Um, so one, I would say know who your internal customers are and request like a focus group or a tiger team to
Hmm.
provide the feedback and help ideate the scope of the demo program to understand what's going to be most impactful. Two, I would say start with one high impact area of focus. And then for us, what we felt was, we delivered pieces tied to that one high impact area. And then the floodgates kind of opened with ideas of how do we then make this demo program more robust? Where do we continue to put energy into based on, the success we've seen with this first area? And last, I just say leverage your Reprise team. We've gotten so many fantastic ideas from our CSM and working directly with your product teams. And there's just so many best practices and deep support from the account team. And they've really helped us, build out our demo program, and know where we can create high impact, with the tool that we have in place.
Great. Well, thank you, Lauren. I know I've learned a lot today, and I'm sure our audience has also learned a great deal. Where should folks look to connect with you if they want to learn more?
I'm always happy to connect on LinkedIn. And then if anyone needs to email me directly, I'm happy to talk about how we're using Reprise, how we built out our demo program, lauren.anderson@icims.com.
Great. Thank you again.
You
Bye.
bet.